Good morning and welcome to this week's episode of KidsPoint. I'm Austin and I'm so excited to have you tuning in with us this week. Each week we learn a story from the Bible and we know that if it's in the Bible that we can trust that it's true. So let's get ready to learn about Jesus. If there's someone sitting next to you, give them a high five and let's get started.
By faith, not by sight. 2 Corinthians 5:7. I live by faith, not by sight. 2 Corinthians 5:7. Faith comes by hearing, and hearing the word of God. Use your faith, believe and speak. Faith is like a seed, make it grow, make it grow. Faith is like a rope, don't let go, don't let go. Faith comes by hearing, and hearing the word of God. Use your faith, believe and speak. Faith is like a seed, make it grow, make it grow. Faith is like a rope, don't let go, don't let go. Get loose. Hearing and hearing the word of God. Use your faith, believe and speak. Faith is like a seed, make it grow, make it grow. Faith is like a rope, don't let go, don't let go. Break it down. I live by faith, not by sight. 2 Corinthians 5:7.
Hey everyone, my name is Abby and we're so excited that you're joining us today. Today we're going to be talking about the story of two brothers who did not know how to resolve conflict in a healthy way. Their names were Jacob and Esau. This is a problem that so many of us have. Most of us hate conflict because it's usually handled the wrong way. Today, we're talking about how to handle conflict the right way. And we're saying this: every day I make choices that honor Jesus. We're going to start things off by singing a song together, so go ahead and stand up and sing this out with us as loud as you can.
Some music. It's time to make some noise. It's time to dance, clap your hands, don't stand still. Now let me hear you lose your voice.
sounded so good. Thanks for singing along with us. Now we're going to take some time to watch a Bible story together. And like I said earlier, today we're going to be looking at the story of Jacob and Esau. So let's check it out.
God's story, Jacob and Esau. So part of God's story is about twin brothers, and it begins like this. Once, there were twins named Jacob and Esau, and they didn't get along. They actually started fighting before they were born. Then during birth, Esau came out first, but Jacob was holding on to his heel. That's not normal, and they even look different. The Bible says Esau's body was covered in so much red hair, it was almost like he had clothes on. Jacob's skin was smooth. Well, they got even more different as they grew up. Esau hunted animals and spent time outside. Their dad, Isaac, was a big meat eater, so Esau was his favorite. Jacob, on the other hand, was a quiet guy who liked to stay indoors. Their mom, Rebecca, liked Jacob the best. The Bible doesn't talk much about Jacob and Esau as kids, but we do know Esau was lucky to be the oldest because he had what's called a birthright. That meant Esau would be in charge of their family, including all their money, land, and stuff. Jacob would probably have to work for his brother Esau, and their dad Isaac would give Esau a blessing, which means Isaac would ask God to take care of his oldest son Esau in an extra special way. Well, you probably think Esau was pretty excited about this, but he wasn't. In fact, one day he gave it up. He'd just returned from a hunting trip. Since he was out killing animals all day, he didn't have time to eat. He came home starving. Jacob was making stew, so Esau said, "Quick, give me some of that stew. I'm very hungry." Now, Jacob was a little sneaky, so he didn't just share the stew with his hungry brother, which would have been nice. Instead, he said, "First, sell me your birthright." And guess what? Esau said yes. It's a little like paying $1 million for a bowl of mushy soup. We don't know why Esau did that, but the Bible says he didn't care about the birthright. But later, when Isaac was really old and about to die, he wanted to ask God to take special care of his firstborn Esau. So he told Esau to go hunting and make him some tasty food, maybe for the last time. Now, Esau wanted the birthright, so he left right away to hunt. Meanwhile, Rebecca had heard Isaac and Esau talking, and remember, Jacob was her favorite. She wanted him to get the blessing, so she did something really sneaky. She told Jacob, "I will prepare tasty food for your father. You take it to your father to eat. Then he'll give you his blessing before he dies." See, Isaac was blind. She was telling Jacob to pretend he was Esau. But there was a slight problem with her plan. First off, Esau was hairy. So if Isaac touched Jacob's smooth skin, he would know the truth. The Bible says Esau had a certain smell too, which might be a polite way of saying he stunk. I mean, imagine how smelly a guy would be if he was always sweating and getting dead animal blood stuck on his clothes and matted in his hairy skin. And this was before deodorant. So even though Isaac was blind, he might smell Jacob or touch his smooth arm and know the truth. Well, Rebecca was sneaky like Jacob. She told Jacob to put sheepskin on his arms and wear some of Esau's smelly clothes. Now Isaac would never know. And even though Isaac wondered why the voice sounded like Jacob, guess what? The trick worked. Jacob got the blessing. Now Esau would have to work for him. As you might imagine, Esau was furious. In fact, Rebecca had to help Jacob run away so Esau wouldn't kill him. What's really crazy about this story is Jacob messed up big time. But he really did get God's blessing. Esau even forgave him later. We don't know why God let this happen, but the truth is we all mess up sometimes, and God still wants us to be part of his story. And that's the story of Jacob and Esau. So, in case you missed it, here's the quick version. Jacob and Esau were twins. They were different. Jacob tricked Esau. Esau sold his birthright for stew. Later, Esau wanted his blessing. Rebecca helped Jacob trick his dad Isaac. Jacob got Esau's blessing. Esau was furious. Jacob ran away, but God still blessed him. And that's a part of God's story.
Even though Jacob and Esau did eventually forgive each other, they lost so many years of their relationship as brothers because they didn't know how to resolve conflict. Have you ever fought with siblings or friends like Jacob and Esau? How did you go about making up and resolving the conflict? I would encourage you to pause the video here and take a couple of minutes to talk about that. Then, once you're done talking, unpause the video and continue. Our friend Pastor Andrew is going to be talking to us a little bit more about our story right now, so let's take a look.
We're talking about friend issues. Now be honest, have you ever had a problem with a friend? Like, has a friend ever done something wrong or hurtful to you? That's me, happened here. Now, have you ever done something wrong or hurtful to one of your friends? Same, guilty. But that's just a part of being friends. We're all sinful people, and we've all made mistakes, and occasionally we mistreat each other. But if we don't learn how to deal with friend issues God's way, then we're gonna have a big mess on our hands. Let me show you what I'm talking about. Right here, I've got a soda. Now, let's pretend that this soda is your friend. I know, kind of ridiculous, but just pretend with me. You and your friend hang out together. You have a good time at school or around the neighborhood. But then one day, there's a problem. You and your friend are just joking around, having fun, but your friend takes it a little too far. Jokingly, they say something mean to you. They make fun of you, even laugh at you. You try to play it off, but what they said kind of hurts. Do you know what that problem is like? Yeah. How many of you know that there's a problem with this soda now? Right now, there is a ton of tension and pressure built up inside this bottle, and it can make a huge mess. And that's kind of what it's like when your friend wrongs you. There can be a lot of tension and pressure, frustration and anger between you and your friend. And if you're not careful, it can be opened up and things can go terribly wrong. That soda, that friendship can blow up, leading to you becoming more upset. It can lead to name-calling, gossiping, making fun of each other, or even fighting. And that's a big mess. This is what happened in our Bible story with Jacob and Esau. Jacob wronged Esau. He tricked his brother, which wasn't very cool. And then Esau comes after Jacob. Yeah, they made a big mess of things. They missed out on a lot of awesome brother time that they could have enjoyed together. But others of us handle it differently. When there's a problem, instead of blowing up on that friend, they will just avoid them and not be their friend anymore. They'll decide that there's too much tension, too much pressure, too many problems, and they'll just quietly do away with that friend because they're too afraid to deal with the issue. And that's not cool either. So exploding on your friend isn't cool, and just avoiding your friend over an issue isn't cool either. So what do we do when problems happen? Here's what Jesus had to say. Matthew 18:15 says, "If your brother or sister or your friends sin against you, go to them. Tell them what they did wrong. Keep it between the two of you, and if they listen to you, you will have won them back." The Jesus way of dealing with problems is to calmly go to that friend and tell them what's bothering you. Let them know what happened and see if they're willing to apologize or to fix the issue. When you do that, it's like carefully opening a shaken bottle of soda. Let's try this. Yeah, there we go. When you do it carefully and thoughtfully, there might be a little bit of a mess, maybe some uncomfortable feelings when you talk to your friend, but it's worth it. And when you're calm, hopefully they'll listen to you and the two of you can make things good again. Now, you may be thinking, well, what if they keep doing this wrong thing? Or what if they don't listen to me or they don't care? And those are great questions, and we're going to talk about those in small group. But first, we need to look at the other side of this. Everything we just talked about was about a friend doing something wrong to you. But what happens when you are the one that did something wrong? When you're the one that caused the problem? Jesus talked about this too. Matthew chapter 5, 23 and 24, Jesus says, "Suppose you are offering a gift at the altar, and you remember that your brother or sister has something against you, meaning you did wrong to them. What do? Jesus says, leave your gift in front of the altar. First go and make peace with them, and then come back to offer your gift." Jesus is saying that if you did something wrong to someone, you need to go to them as quick as possible to make it right. Tell on yourself. Admit what you did was wrong and show them how you plan to change in the future. And when you do that, it's like carefully opening up the bottle of soda. There might be a little bit of a mess, but it keeps it from creating a huge problem. Wouldn't it have been so much better for Jacob if he would have done this with his brother Esau? So how are we supposed to do this when it seems so unnatural and so uncomfortable to talk to our friends about problems? Well, we can do this because somebody has done this for us. You see, you and I created a huge problem with God. God wanted to be with us, but we pushed him away, choosing to sin and go our way instead. So what does God do? Explode his anger on us? Avoid us and no longer want us? No, he doesn't do either of those. Instead, he comes after us. Through his cross, he shows us how much he loves us, even though we've wronged him. And through his resurrection, he makes a way for us to be with him again. Jesus is the ultimate friend. And if you've been born again, if you've decided to follow Jesus, then his spirit, his power is in you, and he will enable you to be a friend and solve issues just like he did.
When it comes to conflict, sometimes it can be uncomfortable, but it's better to confront someone about a problem in the right way than to bottle it up until you explode or just decide that you're not friends anymore. Remember what Jesus taught us. If you did something wrong to someone, you need to go to them as quickly as possible and make it right. How do you typically resolve conflict with your friends and family? Do you blow up and get angry? Do you give the cold shoulder and decide you're not going to be friends anymore? Or do you bring it up right away? I would encourage you to talk with your parent or small group leader about that right now. Then talk about if there's any unresolved conflict in your life and how you plan to bring it up. Remember, every day we should make choices that honor Jesus. That's it for this week. Thank you so much for joining us, and we'll see you next time.
I hope that you enjoyed today's story. Sometimes it can be hard to make the right choice, but following God's plan is always best. This week, I want to challenge you. While you're learning from home, find something that you can do to help the grown-ups in your house. Maybe you can do the dishes, take out the trash, maybe even help with dinner. But whatever you choose, do it with a great attitude. Have a good week, and I'll see you next time.